Tony Pasin, member for Barker. We've got some positive news to bring about bitumen and related road infrastructure in your Mallee part of your electorate.
Yeah, great news for road users across the Mallee. $13.5 million funding boost made up of $10.8 million via the federal government, commensurate $2.7 million from the South Australian government. It's all a product of the federal government's road safety program. It's tranche 3 of that program, upgrades to the Karoonda, Mallee and Ngarkat highways.
And this funding for the highway, has it been something that you've had to fight for a while? Have you been supporting local council in relation to making it happen?
Well, Ricky, we lose 1,200 people a year on our roads. Some 40,000 people are seriously injured. I have a significant road network. It's so important to the productive capacity of my electorate, and so you can imagine I'm constantly banging the table. We can spend a lot of time in Canberra pontificating about stuff that doesn't matter, when really my constituents want better telecommunications, better roads, and you can summarise that as better connectivity. And so whether it's councils, the Deputy Prime Minister who has portfolio responsibility, or state governments, I'm constantly into them about needing to get more bitumen on the road.
All right, and there were some roadworks recently on the highways there. Are they sort of completed? I know Rowan Ramsey likes to say, your neighbour in grey, it's a good sign when people are having to slow down for roadworks. It means work's being done.
Well, it's certainly frustrating, and I'm asking your listeners to remain patient. There are lots of witches' hats out there in rural Australia at the moment. That is trying to make up for 16 years of neglect, and whilst it is frustrating, it's a good sign, as Rowan says. In terms of this work, it'll begin in coming weeks, and it's expected to be completed by mid-2022. So it's not an announcement about roadworks in the nether. It's works that will start shortly, whether it's on the Ngarkat, Mallee or Karoonda highways. And so if your listeners are driving past these roadworks, just think about where the funding came from, and also just be safe as you travel past the people doing the works.
And has the network across your electorate on the roads front taken a heavier load than usual because of a pretty heavy harvest compared to previous years?
Well, it has. Although I must say, roads like the Ngarkat Highway and the Princess Highway are looking much better than they did, because federal road funding, or road funding generally, is a mix of state and federal funding, 80% federal, 20% state. For the 16 years of a former Labor government, we had very little impetus or indeed willingness to spend that 20% on the rural road network. We've turned that around, although there's much more work to be done. But in terms of the northern part of my electorate, the reason we're seeing more trucks on the road is because there's been a move away by bulk handlers to put grain on rail, and it's gone onto the roads, which is having a massive impact on the Karoonda and Mallee highways in particular. And whilst that's a decision I wish hadn't been taken, it's one that we've got to deal with, and that's why you're seeing a lot of these funding commitments around those Mallee highways.
Well, Tony, good important news about road safety. Thank you for sharing that with us today on Flow.
Thanks, Ricky. Always a pleasure.